set to music in Bible women, though still part of the Esther section, is taken from the most set to music text of the entire Bible, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Which isn't Solomon's, but it's called the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. And it has its roots in Mesopotamian and Egyptian love poetry. Jews have interpreted it as representing the relationship between the people and God, while Christians see it as between Christ and the church. Now, on your handout, I've listed 85 works by Jews and 2 by non-Jews, based on text from this book. And that does not include the Dybbuk operas we looked at last time, a number of which also go from the Song of Songs. Most of the settings are not operas, but a few of them are. The earliest, from 1880, is by Abraham Goldfaden, the founder of the Jewish theater, who wrote countless operettas, but only 2 operas, Shulamis, based on the Song of Songs, and Bar Kochba. His most famous song, Rosenkist mit Mandeln, lullaby about taking the bitter with the sweet, the raisins with the almonds, is also from Shulamis. There have been various versions derived from the original Goldfaden, including one we saw in Florida some years ago by a composer named Edi Donat, whose most distinguished musical composition was actually the Turkish national anthem. And there are more versions by Shalom Secunda and others. Anton Rubinstein, who was born Jewish but baptized as a Catholic at the age of 2, wrote Shulamis in 1883. There are beautiful settings, excerpts from which Helene and I have performed numerous times, by Mark Lavry, an oratorio from 1940, and Lucas Foss, a song cycle from 1947. Joseph Dorfman's opera in Hebrew dates from 1995. Also worthy of note are Sergei Slonimsky's 1975 cantata in Russian, and Joel Wallach's 1987 sensitive setting in English. My friend and colleague, the late Jack Gottlieb, was and remains, I think, the only one ever to try to set the entire Song of Songs to music in what he called an operatorio, begging the question as to whether the work was opera or oratorio. He also quoted in it from Lehrman's play, The Little Foxes, which Mark Blitzstein made into his most successful Broadway opera, Regina. The little foxes that spoil the grapes is, of course, a verse from the Song of Songs. I'd like to mention 2 interesting works by non-Jews, for which I have scores here, if anybody wants to look. One is by my friend Ronald Pereira, 3 love lyrics based on, those are choral works based on the Song of Songs text. And a 1912 opera by Paul von Klenau. He's a very interesting character. He was born and died in Copenhagen, but Arnold Schoenberg referred to him as that German composer because he lived most of his life in Germany and Austria, and apparently was able to get much of his music, even though a lot of it was 12-tone, performed under the Nazis by arguing that the 12-tone system was consistent with Nazi ideology. I'm not kidding, I'm not making this up. This is something that the 12-tone system's inventor Arnold Schoenberg thoroughly disapproved of. There were also people that argued that it was consistent with communist ideology, like Hans Eisler. Schoenberg was a teacher of Eisler, he didn't think much of that idea either. So I'm going to play a little bit of A Rose of Sharon from this Suedo's Esther section of the Bible.